Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. We've been watching this area for days upon days now, talking about this cold front working its way into the southeast, and then maybe this area low pressure forming along this. You see the highlighted area, which is now say to the east of Florida in the western Atlantic along the Carolina coastline. It's not extending back over Florida and into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, so that's a little bit of a change. Hurricane Center has now put this at a 60% chance of development over the next 7 days. And it's something we're going to continue to monitor as we go through the week. And it does look like something is going to try to develop. Big question is exactly how much developing can this do, because it does have some wind shear to contend with. Conditions aren't just perfect in this area, at least right now. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle, I think, as we go through the next several days. So here we're going to look at this on the Fox model, because at this point we don't have anything yet. We still have this boundary which is working its way down over the state. We've got this broad area of an upper level low at this point, but what we're watching for is that developing low level circulation. And it does look like that will start to develop as we go through Saturday. Right there, right off the east coast of Florida. And then watch how it just tracks right on towards the northeast. So they're going to see a lot of rain, I think, along the coastline of the Carolinas up and through South Carolina, eventually heading up into North Carolina. The exact track of it, if it moves a bit further to the west and more over land, well, that will basically shut down any chances of it developing. So it needs to stay at least offshore somewhat, that center of this. But there you see it continuing to work its way over the Carolinas, right along the coastline as we head into Sunday, and eventually continuing just on that northeasterly track. You look at the winds with this, what we're looking at is the peak winds over time, and just overlaying those on the map. And you're seeing some winds gusting there, but you're certainly not seeing any concentration of a low level circulation. So again, it's going to be a bit of a struggle as this goes through the next couple of days. And then we look at some of the various computer models, the European and WIPE, the European AI model, and then the GFS. And right now you are seeing just that broad trough of low pressure associated with that frontal boundary. But watch as we go through time, you're starting to see maybe a bit more of at least a sign of an area of low pressure starting to form. This is tomorrow afternoon, right over the state. Of course, you're not going to see anything developing over the state. It's got to move out over the water. So as we head into Saturday, you do see it shifting on towards the east and then over the water, and then you're starting to see more of a definite sign. But still, the other computer models not nearly as strong as what you're seeing with the GFS. Not to say that the GFS is strong, it's just maybe a little bit more definite than the other models, but all the models are really indicating this to be a fairly weak system. And overall, this is going to be just a big mess. A lot of rain working its way along the coastline. So even though we're talking about maybe the possibility of something developing, we're not talking about a big storm. What we're really talking about is just maybe a depression, at best a tropical storm. At least that's the thinking right now with this. Not seeing any indications of anything more than that. And then that would just bring some rain along the coastline and maybe some stronger surf as well. But then that will just continue to slide on towards the north and east, and it's going to be that big key there. Exactly where does this move? Does this move more over land, which basically shuts down any possibility of any real development, or does it move a little bit further on towards the east and keep itself at least over water and gives itself at least a chance? So we're going to watch this, and we'll keep you updated right here on myfoxhurricane.com.